Alrighty, guys. Hey, it's good to see you guys again. It's been quite a fucking while since I made a podcast episode. It's been over a full fucking calendar year. Um, Sorry for the long hiatus to the people who were actively interested in listening to my podcast episodes. I'm not going anywhere. I'm back to doing it. We're gonna try to do it at a little bit higher quality this time, and I finally have a lot more interesting people to get to interview. Not that the people I was interviewing beforehand weren't as interesting. It was just a lot more of my friends. Um, we'll get to this lovely lady in just a second. I just wanted to let you guys know, kind of just lost interest in recording the podcast for a little bit there. I mean, with the whole pandemic situation happening, and then I had life hit me and I started traveling a lot for work, so it got really hard to just have the time to record episodes, let alone find the people that wanted to record the episodes. So it got really hard in that sense. But we're back. We're gonna keep going. I'm gonna try to keep this at the regular pace that I had it before, where it was, roughly every 2 weeks, a new podcast out. I'm also thinking about doing some solo podcasts of my own, where I kind of just do train of thought and user submitted questions. So if that's something that intrigues you, if you're a listener or want to become a listener of mine, my social medias will be talked about at some point throughout the stream, through the podcast, which feel free to, obviously go give me a like or give me a follow, enjoy my content. Otherwise, if you have questions down the road that you'd like to get answered, just send me a DM. My DMs are open. And if it's something I feel like I can talk about for that fits into a solo podcast, or even if I have a person on and it just works out, I'm more than happy to get those talked about and out there. So, without further ado, today on my podcast, we have Ivy Minxxx here.
Hi.
Met her semi-recently at Exotica.
Miami, 2022.
And we'll get into that in a little bit in this podcast. But I'm going to go ahead and let her introduce herself and tell her just a few things about herself.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm Ivy Minxxx with 3 X's, MINXXX. It's important to use 3. I am a fetish content creator, porn star, cam model, etc., all the adult things, and the long-term goal is to hopefully become like a sex therapist or counselor, so this is kind of like
really good.
Yeah, this is like my research period, so maybe in like 5-10 years I'll pursue taking a legitimate career in that degree. Although this career is also legitimate, but that's a different form of legitimacy. Let's get that clarified. Sex work is work, but therapeutics require a different level of skill.
There's sometimes a doctorate involved in there.
Yes, and that takes time and money. But for now, it's good research, yeah.
Alright, cool. So, to start off the podcast, the question I'm sure you've been asked more than a few times, more than enough. How did you get into it? How did you get into sex work? How did you get into being a kinky little shit? How did you get into all that kind of stuff?
Yeah. I mean, pretty much, as everyone does, they find porn on the internet at some point in their upbringing and sexuality, and as soon as I found porn, I was like, oh, I want to do that. If I could do that, I could do that. I could do it better. And I started researching when I turned 18, some of the ways to get into the industry, and I was nervous, and then someone I knew invited me to come to, a studio recording, and so I did, and then from there on, it was just commitment. I was like, I'm doing this forever. And 3 years later, I'm still doing it, and I'm doing pretty good at it, I like to think. I'm not too shabby. It's niche, but it's worth it.
I mean, I like your content.
I'm
that
proud
you made.
of
It's
it.
fun to scroll through Twitter and the Pornhub videos every once in a while and watch your stuff
Yeah,
that I've checked out so far.
You've seen some live performances, so you have a different perspective.
Yeah, that too.
I do better in person.
Yeah.
I do aerial acrobatics and stuff, and spin on a hoop. Last night I broke the hoop. I still cannot
That was fun.
believe
Yeah,
that.
I didn't get to see that happen. But
It was so nonchalant. I was going to put it away, and then just broke. If that happened
a
minute sooner.
One of the PSMs came up to me and handed me the nut.
They're like, here you go.
She was like, "Is this yours?" Because I guess she thought it was a part of my work equipment. I'm like, "That's not. My nut's still in my balls. It hasn't gone nowhere." And she's like, "Oh, okay." But
Yeah.
it's fun to watch. You have a couple of your aerial videos posted, right?
I do. I have a couple, mostly on like my Instagram, like through reels and stuff. But there are some videos on my OnlyFans of my aerial stuff. And I'm looking to make more content with it. It's more so like putting together an entire performance is difficult. I was actually talking to Dusty or Peppermint from Peppermint and Dusty, and she does aerial silk performances at Exotica as well as like.
Silks are fucking rough.
Yeah,
and those girls are impressive.
She's amazing. She's like really talented. And so, but I was asking her, I was like, you know, how do you get a performance set up? And she's like, well, it should take me months to like get one song down. So I do the same song. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, I guess it would take a long time to get down a real performance and like master it. So that's part of why I don't have a ton of content posted of my Lyra stuff, is because it's mostly practice. Like I'm trying to get ready to build up my first real act.
Well, because I mean that's how it is with all performances, especially anything dance-esque in general. Like I used to be a dancer in high school.
I wasn't a dancer until I found Lyra.
It took me like 2 months to make a single like dubstep dance vid with the group, but that was also including scheduling time and getting people together and shit.
Yeah. It's discipline.
But yeah, so I want to talk to you about Exotica because that's where we met. I want to get your input on it, how it went for you, because I only got to go for 1 day, sadly.
Oh yeah.
Because it was kind of a spur of the moment thing. So like, as some of you guys know, and for those who are new, I am predominantly a traveling stagehand and rigger for music festivals, concerts, anything in the entertainment industry. So I basically build festivals from the ground up and put everything that you see in the air up there safely with, you know, the crew that I work with. And so with that, I was working in Miami doing Rolling Loud Music Fest, which is a rap festival that... Whole nother podcast. Whole nother fucking podcast. But it so happened to just line up with Exotica, and I saw an ad for it on my Twitter, and I was like, Sex? I'm gonna go. So I took off a day of work. It was only like $90 for a VIP ticket. Like, so fucking worth it.
Oh yeah.
And I got several free enamel pins. I got all that extra goody, Bad Dragon, Ryan Free Cams, and Chatterbait merch. I met amazing people like you and all the other Chatterbait streamers who seemed to really like me, which is so nice.
Chatterbait's a great community.
But it's so... She can probably explain it a little bit better than I, seeing as you've been to several of them, haven't you?
That was my 5th Exotica.
5th Exotica, okay.
Yeah, and I go for all 3 days.
So, do you wanna give the listeners a little bit of a preview of what Exotica is?
I mean, they're all pretty similar for the most part.
Most sexpos are somewhat the same.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, imagine the anime convention, but switch the theme to porn. There's going to be several booths with different themes and
but also
companies.
Still has anime.
It does still have some anime. It has a lot of toy vendors and other adult-friendly vendors. There's a couple bars around there, so you can enjoy beverages. I will say, though, don't get too fucking drunk there. That's the last thing you want to do. Some guy tried to grab my foot while he was drunk one night. I'm like, dude, I'm going to kick you.
I mean, you never want, like, just in general...
If you're drunk in public, do mind your manners. You wouldn't grab anybody else. Don't go grab a sex worker.
Just because you're at a sexpo doesn't mean you get free hands-on to do what you want.
No, you'd be paid for an entry door fee to look at it, not to actually touch and feel
It's like a strip club. You can look, but you can't touch.
Yeah. Unless you pay to touch. Some people, like, some of the porn stars will, like, let you pay good money to get, like, a hug, or, like, I saw one guy getting his face sat on. Like, she was still wearing panties, but he... I saw a guy sucking some porn star's toes.
Tiny Taxi charged, I think, like, $15 a picture.
Yeah, I
which
know.
Is fair. And then
another big star.
God, what's her? Not Lisa Ann.
I know.
Brandy Love. Brandy Love was there, and hers. It was $10 for a photo, which wasn't too bad. I wasn't able to get one with her because my phone fucking was at 1%, and I was like, I can't Cash App you, and I don't have cash. I don't carry cash. She's like, oh, I'm sorry, but she still talked to me for a little bit, and I gotta tell, you know, she's the ultimate. One of the top, like, 3 ultimate stepmom actresses, models, and it was just really nice to tell her. I went up to her, I was like, you know, you're the mom I always wish I had, and she's like, yeah, and I'm like, yes, you would have been a great stepmom, and she was like, oh my god.
Oh, please.
But, yeah, so from my experience just doing a single day, and I was a patron, not a vendor, model,
It's different when you're
showrunner,
working
anything
it.
like that. You know, you go in. There was a section for chatterbait streamers, my free cam streamers. I don't really understand what the thing in the middle was
They had like
for
different,
brazzers.
Yeah, so they had different porn and companies there that were
Bad
promoting
Dragon
themselves.
was there.
Yeah, they had like Why Not booth with the Why
Yeah.
Not awards, which nominations are still running at this time.
Go nominate.
Yeah, or vote if it's that time when you see this. 2022. If you're watching from the future, then maybe it's just happened to be time for the next one. So.
But also, thank you for
Yeah.
watching my stream or
Hello. You're
podcast. Yeah.
break the fourth wall a little bit, future humans.
Look, Deadpool doesn't have to be the only person that can do it.
Absolutely.
Um,
I'm in your bedroom. You don't know it yet, or your office space. You're freaky fuck.
She watches everyone when they sleep.
I am no better than God.
But yeah, so with that though, like, it gave me, and I went there specifically to, God damn it, what's the word? My stupid ADHD brain. Not collaborate, but meet people. Network. Yeah, I went there to fucking network. And I think I did a pretty fucking good job. I met a lot of dope ass people. 4 of my top 5 chatterbait streamers just happened to be there, which was so nice. I got to talk to most of them for a little bit and introduce myself, and they're all really fucking nice people.
We are.
Which,
well, most of us are.
all the ones I talked to,
I feel like I would say like 90%, and it's only because it's everybody. You can't expect just because someone's internet personality to be as genuine as they appear.
There's gonna be a bruised apple or two in
Yeah,
every
but ultimately,
bucket.
most people are extremely friendly, nice, and do care about it.
Yeah.
So they keep coming to conventions. I mean, most of them have to pay a good penny to get there for like their boarding and stuff. So if they're gonna invest in it, then they might as well.
You can't be an asshole if you want to make money.
If you want to actually meet
being
the
a people person. Yeah.
Yeah, like so I feel like if you're social enough and charismatic enough to come to the convention as a model, then yeah, you
But it was
probably
also
enjoy meeting people.
it was nice for me because like it really one of the things that's weird for me as a viewer starting to become a streamer, sex worker, content creator, all those things, seeing as I'm mostly a viewer right now, one of the nice things is being able to kind of differentiate the streamer or creator from their craft, if that makes sense. Like, so like if I would have never met you at the thing, like I'm one of those people where it feels weird for me to talk in a chat room if I don't actively know the person or if I met them, because it just feels like I'm invading their space.
I disagree. Depends. Like, it depends on your take. I love when people talk in my chats. even
Well,
if
I
they're
know,
not,
like I get that that's the whole point of a fucking chat room is to talk and whatnot, but for me, like, I don't know, it's just like, I'll use Eva as an example. Like, I watch her streams all the time. Eva, my bad.
Eva.
I pronounce a lot of stuff weirdly.
Tomato.
It's tattoos.
Tattoos.
Thanks, Bert Kreischer. But I watch her streams all the time, and I'm a lot more of a ghost in a sense, just because like I don't know her on a personal level.
Usually most people don't.
Yeah, but it's just
you don't
it's,
get to know them if you don't talk to them.
I know, but it's just weird to me because
They
like
don't
I
know.
don't want to talk to somebody. Like I'm never gonna comment on someone's thing and like you have really cute feet or like
Well,
all those.
that's another thing. Like, hey, your personality is very uplifting. I appreciate what you do.
Yeah.
That's one thing. You
I
can give a
finally
genuine
started doing that.
compliment.
It's great.
Yeah.
But
Give compliments you like to receive.
well, yes, but the other problem for it with me is I always end up commenting on something about the room or the situation more so than them. Like someone will post a picture and I'm like, yo, that poster in the back left corner is really fucking cool. And they're like, what does that have to do with me? This is like a thirst trap picture. And I'm like, I guess that makes sense. But yeah, do you have anything else to say about Exotica? Like, what was your experience as a creator?
As a
for it?
creator, I mean, I really enjoy getting to network and meet new people.
And being there all 3 days.
Being there, if you're going to be there all 3 days, my recommendation is to pace yourself. There are a lot of after parties, and it'll be very tempting to go and party really hard. And if you're not built for that, or if you're older and your body gives in on you, you're probably gonna be too tired to do much more the rest of the days. So pace yourself, you know, drink water, make sure you eat something. A lot of times people forget to eat because like it's distracting and there's a lot going on. The energy is ridiculous.
I was fucking exhausted after the day, but that was
Yeah.
also because I didn't want to pay for the food.
Yeah, and so I mean, like, make sure you know, keep yourself healthy while you're there.
Hydrate or
mind
dehydrate,
your-
kids.
Be consent forward. Ask before doing something, even taking photos. Like, I get it. Like, yes, you have the right to, or not right, but you have permission to take photos once you're in there. But do know, like, it's kind of weird for you to not follow or engage with someone, or even just like if you take a photo of me while I'm working, send me the photo. It's weird if you don't know me and you just take a photo because you're like, oh,
'Cause,
hot
like-
girl, ding, and now you just have a random picture of my ass and you have no idea who I am.
Because, like, if
That's
I just
weird
have
to
my
me.
phone out and I go up to Ivy and I'm just like, oh, think, and then walk away, that's weird as fuck.
And it happens often, or even worse, they're recording a video of me while I'm doing a performance on
Yeah.
my show at the booth, and then they're like, and that's why I started putting so many banners up, so you have to know, at least when you're rewatching it, that, oh, that's Ivy Minxxx.
Yeah.
Because it happened the first 4 conventions, people would just record me and not follow, I never saw the footage, or like, I didn't charge for pictures, and now
Yeah.
I charge for photos, because
Most of the Chatterbait girls didn't
all I
charge just in
asked
general.
was that they tagged me if they took a photo with me the first 4 conventions, and like
Yeah.
almost never happened.
Yep.
So I was like, okay, well, no more people are getting photos of me because you can't even respect to find out who I am or follow me.
Yeah.
So you have to pay.
I,
And even
um,
then, they don't post them anyway. So it's like, well, you paid, and that's fine. I made my $5, $10.
Yeah. It was nice for me because, like, I got to get a picture with most of the people I talked to in the Chatterbait booth and the My Free Cams booth.
Maybe don't say MFC so much.
Oh, my bad.
No, it looks like,
Yeah.
like maybe don't.
Fair. The
You
other
don't want the
booths.
Chatterbait daddy to get mad.
Fair. But, so, like, I got to
We
get
are live
pictures.
streaming this one too, just for Q&A.
I got to get pictures with most of the people I stopped and talked to, which was really nice. And I ended up, you know, obviously I got their information and followed them. And then I do what you're supposed to do because I'm a photographer and I know how much it fucking sucks to not be able to have
Your work credited.
the work credited or just the ability to get new people to see your stuff. If you're not helping roll the train of your friends that are creators in any sense, you're just hindering their stuff. Share, like, follow, do whatever you can to your friends that are creating anything. It's honestly if you're not gonna buy their stuff, it's the next best thing that you can do. But also with that, like, I did take a few photos of people and like edited them and whatnot, and then I sent those to those people, and then I also posted it with their tag on it so that they could tag it and say that, hey, this person took a really dope photo of me, and then I was like, hey, I took a really dope photo of this person. It was a nice, like, equal exchange.
Yeah. I
For some
appreciate
people-
when photographers do that.
I didn't do it a whole lot just because I don't like taking photos in a...
Find Chatterbait models appreciate it. They'll often,
Yeah.
as long as you tag them and post on Twitter, they'll retweet it and they'll, you know.
Yeah.
I
I
use
just-
the photos photographers take of me if I like them enough.
Yeah, I just don't like taking a whole lot of photos in an expo situation because I like to be there in the moment, if that makes sense.
The more of them you go to, the easier it'll be to take photos. 'Cause
Yeah.
I will say, like,
Also, the lighting
if
is
you've
not
seen
the
one, you've
best.
seen them all, kind of.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be about the same every time with a few different people, a few different shows.
Yeah, this one I was definitely like, oh, this stuff's all so cool. I
It's
gotta
really
talk to
exciting,
everyone.
the very first one. My first one, I was like, it was really exciting, but then by my 3rd one, I was like, okay, I got it. And now my 5th one, I'm like, I'm just gonna do exotic like I always do. Like, I know how to run through it, and so.
So
I'm going
then-
to New Jersey next.
To get off of that train just a little bit, we'll just jump into another car. Same train,
Yeah.
different car. This is the bar car.
Okay.
So do you go to other conventions?
Mhm.
Do you go to a lot of them? I know the answer, obviously, but
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to go to more. I've only so far been to Exotic. But my next convention's in like a week and a few days. Today's Saturday, so I got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5 or 6 days until my next convention. I have a little calendar over there that I'm looking at. And I'll
Very
be
well
fetish.
organized.
I try my best. It's a little bit chaotic, but I do.
I mean,
my
you have to be
damnedest.
organized when we live a chaotic lives as we
Yes. Yes. But FetishCon, I think that's in like St. Petersburg or something.
Tampa, St. Petersburg area, yeah. It's the west coast of Florida.
Yeah, and so I heard that's a much smaller convention, but I'm really excited for that. Some people are like, oh, it's very, very tiny. And I'm like, I don't care if it's tiny. I fucking want it to be small. I'd rather, because it's more intimate, and I'm a fetishist, and I know that my community's niche, and I want to be a part of it and integrate myself into the professional side of the fetish community, and that's a good way to do so.
I've never been to it, but I did some research, because I was going to go. I got invited by a couple of people. They were like, I'd love to see you there, but then I was like, well, I'm not going to be anywhere near Florida. I'm not making the fucking drive down there.
I'm going to make the drive.
But also, you have the opportunity to make money at the situation, in a sense.
Yeah, I could definitely make some money there.
I can't really turn it around, and I'd be wasting a lot of stuff. A lot of money and just time and gas when I got to work on doing other work.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is a smaller one, but I mean, like you said, it's more focused on the niche, so you get your specific community that you're trying to get. It's not just a, hey, grab bag, everything's here.
Yeah, like, I like the fact that I'm able to go somewhere where I can seek out specifically, like, rope. I can seek out specifically, like, expansion fetish, or vor, or, you know, whatever other niche thing I'm interested in, latex and saran wrap and so on. And so these are things that I don't get to see enough of. I get to see like a 50 Shades of Grey highlighted version of BDSM at most of these places, but I don't actually see what I'm used to seeing in my culture.
The good version of 50 Shades of Grey. Not the shitty book.
I feel like there's not a good version of 50 Shades of Grey, but there are much better novels out there that reflect BDSM. But yeah, I'm really excited.
Are there any other conventions that you've heard of that you're interested in, excited to go to?
I've heard about X3. I don't love LA, but I'm tempted to go simply because it's a pretty big one.
When is that?
It's usually in January.
Dude, I might be at that one then. Yeah. I'll be in LA.
Yeah, well then that's a good chance. I'm not sure. I think it's creators only though, but it might be no. I'm not sure. It might not be. I heard it's small though. I've heard it's pretty small.
Look, I'm gonna go to anything that I can, especially while I'm in LA.
I would double check, but X3 might. I thought XBiz is creators only. X3 is not. Okay. So, but I do want to also maybe attempt to go to XBiz. I was gonna go this year, but it's just way too overcluttered with my schedule because a week after Exotica Chicago this year, and I didn't have it in me to make 2 trips in less than a month.
Yeah, the one I really want to go to is the Avian.
Avians, oh yeah.
That's January in Vegas.
There's also if I do well in the Why Not nominations, I intend to possibly even go to LA for that awards ceremony.
Okay. Which
in itself will be sort of its own. They have a little festival thing. It's in the beginning of October, and then Exotica New Jersey's in October, and I'm like, nah. I'm missing Halloween for fucking Exotica.
I'm missing Halloween too.
I had a chance to get free not free, but like very discounted when we were young tickets. My other friend can't go. They had a ticket.
I have the opportunity to work both of those.
Yeah, but I can't do either of them because my job is like, you need to be a whore. And I'm like, but I want to go to music festivals. I'm either doing When We Were Young or I'm doing EDC Orlando this year. I'd rather do When We Were Young because then right after it, I just go to LA and I'm already pretty much there. And I'm trying to talk my boss into letting me doing it. Yeah. But Halloween would be fun, but I think I'm doing Austin City Limits at that time. But back to the world of sex. I wanna open up the conversation a little bit more, and I just want to see if you have questions for me, if there's anything you're curious about, if there's anything you want to dive into. Maybe, perhaps. When you're pursuing photography, what's your long-term goal? Like, do you intend to stick with, like, boudoir photography? Are you trying to get into more niche fetishist photography? Are you just doing whatever is available?
So,
like, what's your brand going to look like in the next 6 months to a year with you pursuing this career more diligently?
Yeah, so I've always been... I pretty much started as an NSFW photographer. I've never really done a whole lot of boudoir just because I don't... When I started, I more so started in the sense of wanting to help people naturally desexualize the human body because in a sense, like, because it's totally fine to sexualize the human body when that's what it's going for, but for a lot of people in the world, let alone America, just the natural human body is overtly sexualized to an extreme. Like, I know so many men that can't be naked around other people because they're like, I'm gonna get a fucking boner, and I'm like, it's really not that hard. You just casually be naked. It's not hard. And other people are just
casually be naked.
And then obviously a lot of people are really uncomfortable with their bodies, and that's something I want to get to a point where I can help people do with photography. It's one of my favorite things because I've helped a lot of I've had a couple of friends who have, body dysmorphia, anorexia, stuff that really affects their body image, and I've helped them not overcome it, but come to terms with it a little bit more, because they see with photography that they're still a hot, beautiful
It gives
fucking
you a
person.
reverse perspective, because I think with body dysmorphia, especially in my case, being able, like, I started modeling, I weighed a little bit more than I do now, and I was definitely not as confident as I am now. I was very insecure. But after doing the photo shoots, it did bring out confidence in me that I didn't initially have in the beginning, because I was, like, able to put on a caricature. I could pose myself in these interesting ways. I can highlight parts of my body that I didn't realize were flattering.
Well, that, and also, you only ever see yourself as you perceive yourself.
And when you're seeing a photo, it's a bit
And
harder
when
to
someone
lie.
else takes a photo of you, you get to see what they see in you. And it's usually a completely separate instance and just a whole different world for someone to view, especially when someone actually knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because owning a camera and being a photographer are two separate things.
Very separate. Very separate.
Back to what I'm wanting to do.
Same thing with being a porn star. Owning a camera and being a real creator is a different thing too.
Yeah.
You can't just be a guy with a phone video, like saying, I could be a porn star. I mean, fuck you.
I have a penis. I might as well. You know. No.
We talked about this last night. This is the only industry where females will always dominate.
Yeah.
And it sucks. And it sucks for you, but it's great for me.
It doesn't suck for me all that much, just because I'm not the type of person that really affects. Yeah. It makes it harder for me, but I know the ways in which I need to go in order to get further.
Like a contrast to it. Although females dominate the industry, males have a longer shelf life if they make it in.
Yeah, because we look the same no matter what.
Yeah, like guys can, like a professional male porn star will have a 10-year career, whereas a professional female porn star might only have a 1 to 5 year career.
Yeah, you either get on as the stepsister type of situation. If you can't mature into the stepmom situation, it's usually
the guys
hard.
Too. Usually, I mean, the guys have higher expectations. I mean, if you can't get it up and keep it up and do pop shots, I mean, they're gonna bop you off.
And if you can't hold off for 30 minutes,
it's more than it's like a 7-hour shoot. And they do not encourage, but definitely incentivize without actually incentivizing using saline injections into your penis.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen for me.
Yeah, like I know a few people that have done it for magazine shoots and stuff. Like that's the high expectation for male talent.
Thankfully.
And if you don't, if it doesn't drain itself, then you have to go to the hospital and get them to drain your dick.
I'm good. Thankfully, that's a terrifying thing to learn. Thank you.
Yeah, but that's the actual thing. I mean, that's why the Hydromax pump is so common. It is a genuine tool that's used to increase length and girth in penises, and
thankfully,
it's proven to work.
I'm just a super hypersexual person, so it's
not about
really
the size of the penis, but some people feel like, affirming. I feel like it is the best product out there for male penis affirmation. So if you are insecure about your penis size and you have been taking supplements, pills, and like doing pumps and stuff, I think the only reason why I talk about it so much is because I've seen so many men that have been a little bit insecure about their size pump with an air pump and pop blood vessels and lose sensitivity in their dicks. It is not possible with the Hydromax. It is a water-based pump. You do it in the shower. It's like you don't even have to be hard to use it. You just it's just naturally over time will stretch the skin and it doesn't cause any damage and it helps with circulation and whatnot. And I just love it. It's a money-back guarantee product, and that's rare to find in the sex toy. Yeah. And especially one that's promising enhancement. So, I don't know, if you're out there and you're a little nervous about the dick size and you want it to be a little bit bigger, and it's not because your dick's not good enough, but I understand, like, I wish I had bigger tits sometimes, and, sometimes I massage them and they get bigger. I don't know, or my hair color, I want to change it because I want to have purple hair one day. Yeah. It's like that, whatever makes you most confident. People get lip fillers and injections all the time. I mean, this is an easy, less invasive way for you to become more confident if you need it. I love talking about it. I used to work at I worked at an adult toy store for 1.5 years as I was getting my start up in the industry. Yeah. And I sold that like hotcakes. Like I was selling them left and right because I had my boyfriend at the time try it.
People would come up to you and be like, hey, there's this thing, go buy it, try it, go buy it.
If I saw someone looking at an air pump, I would warn them about the potential risks because I'm all about risk awareness in my life in general, with kink, being like personally aware of your own boundaries and knowing that potential could happen, because a lot of people buy them naively because they don't read the instructions. They just know that they need to put on their dick and start pumping until it gets big, and then boom, pump. It's just very uninformed, and I wish there's more talking about it because there's not a lot of conversation going on about male, penis affirmation. Like I feel like it's
Penis envy.
like it's penis envy. You see it in porn, everyone wants it. And why is it like I feel like they try to sell you pills. Like I don't want people taking pills when there's actually a solution. I mean, sure, herbal supplements can be helpful if you like. I feel like they're better, like the rhino pills. If you're gonna take those, they can help with muscle retention.
I've taken a rhino pill, and that shit was a rough fucking night.
They don't actually give you boners, but they will help with muscle retention. So if you work out, like have a lot of sex, like some people take them before they go to the gym, so it helps in recovery.
Yeah.
If you don't drink water with them, it dehydrates you. Like just
yeah,
like
I learned
alcohol.
that the hard way.
Yeah, it gives
That's
you
the
terrible
worst
migraines
hangover
and
I've
headaches.
ever had in my life.
Yeah.
That hurt.
I mean, it does get you horny to a degree. It stimulates you, but it definitely has a downfall if you're not hydrated. No hydration, no fun. It's gonna suck.
Yeah.
But if you drink water, it's a good time. Just drink double the amount. If you're gonna drink alcohol, drink triple the amount.
Yeah.
If you drink alcohol with those, no.
So then back to my photography to finish up that. Like I was saying, started out, always have been NSFW. I want to be able to take photos of just about everything. There's a few things I just don't give a shit about. Like I don't care about weddings. I don't care about like maternity stuff. It's just not my niche, not my thing. But like if people need headshots, people need family pictures, stuff like that, I'm always down. It's just not my thing. Pretty much just anything with the human body is what I really want to do. I'm trying to get more into the kink community. I'm trying to get more into... It's hard for me because I'm not super kinky in what people assume is a kinky
now that
aspect.
You met me.
Yeah.
Like, now just see what I do.
Well, like, even then, like, I've had other friends who were, like, legitimately kinky, and I'm like, I have nothing in common with you. Like, my big thing is voyeurism and exhibition.
But
Outside of that, it's like...
that contrasts what you told me about our beloved friend the whipping and the fun
Yeah.
fire flogging. And you didn't do anything with fire. That was another person I talked to.
No, I do fire.
You do fire? Oh, okay.
Not a whole hell of a lot, but I do.
Yeah. That's neat.
We can get into that in just a second.
Yeah.
I do want to finish this train of thought.
Sorry.
You're good. I am so ADHD. If I don't, it's like in my mind. I'm like, I can't
Gotta get it out.
I can't go to the other road. But so I wanna get into kinks. I wanna get into fetish photography and stuff like that. I really I want to do stuff with models, actresses, porn stars. My goal is just I want to start becoming a recognized name, and I want to get. Yeah, I mean, obviously. But, like, I want to get to the point to where people start coming to me for photos. I don't have to go searching out and trying to figure it out. I want people to...
I think you'll always be searching.
I know.
To a certain degree, you'll have preferences, but you do want more people to know.
I mean, I'll obviously always be searching, but, like, I want to get to the point to where I do have people being like, hey, I have some free time. Are you able to, like, make this work? And I'd be like, oh, fuck yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Because, like...
You want more offers.
Yeah, I want... Because, I definitely want to get to the point to where it's a reliable source of income. I want to get to the point that people respect my work in a sense, because it's really good work. I mean, obviously I'm always growing, but I feel like I'm at a level now where it's just getting it out there to the right people is really going to help. But other than that, those are my big things with photography that I'm really trying to do, and I don't really have any like hard set goals until I'm 30, just because it's gonna take that long for it to really get popping off, unless I get super lucky. But who knows?
You never know.
But yeah, so you were saying something about fire?
Yeah, I mentioned briefly fire.
So yeah, I'm not heavy into the fire and flow scene.
Mm-hmm.
I've done it. I do it. I've always been a flow artist. Before I knew what the term was or whatnot, like I've been twirling batons since I was fucking 8, 9, something like that. Really pretty fucking good with it. I'm not like, I wouldn't have ever joined a majorette squad in college. I tried, they wouldn't let me. They didn't want to buy a male uniform, and I'm like, I guess that makes sense. But I'm solid at that. I do dragon staff decently. I do regular staff. I do fire batons pretty well. I've started getting into bullwhip. I'm a lasso guy. Anything Western, anything I can make country, anything I can just yee the fucking haw with, all down. Love it.
Yee the fucking haw.
But outside of that, I'm not a big poi guy. Not a big, like, spinning balls. I can't do hoops. That shit's just, it breaks my brain.
More like an aerialist type. Like, I gotta have my lyra. I like playing with hula hoops and fans.
I do like fans. Fans are really fun. But yeah, Fire and Flow's fun. Plus, it's another one of those communities that's usually pretty open with nudity. So, like, my philosophy is if I can be naked and do it, I'm gonna do it. Like, I am fucking naked doing this podcast right now, guys. I'm completely.
You have socks on.
That makes it not gay. You know?
They are cow socks.
Yeah.
Thigh-high socks.
You can't tell me these aren't cute as fuck. But you gotta keep those on. Otherwise, you know, it's gonna get a little gay. There's nothing wrong with it.
Nothing wrong with being gay.
Nothing wrong with being gay.
I feel like it makes it a little more.
To be fair, the socks are pretty gay.
Yeah, so the length of them. The length of them. You were wearing ankle socks last night running naked. That was less. But this is, like, more feminine. Like, I would wear those socks. But
I do have a very bad cow print kink.
Cow print kink?
Cow
print addiction?
No, it's a kink for me.
Okay.
It makes me a little excited if I see, like, a girl in, like, a cow print bikini, just game over. Already into them. Like, my watch band is fucking Apple, or is obviously Apple. It's cow print. My nails are cow print. I have a whole, like, head-to-toe cow print outfit. Fucking yeehaw. Something about growing up in Arkansas just, you know, really fucked me over. But yeah, so is there anything else on your mind that you're curious or interested about? And you can always, if there is other stuff, you can always come back to it.
Not in particular, other than, are you excited to get started on your content, like, producing side? Like, I know we talked about, you already have most of your platforms out, but mini-vids.
Yeah.
Mini-vids.
I've always wanted to do it. I've wanted to do this since I mean, before I turned 18, but, you know, I wanted to actively try and do it since I turned 18, because you guys it's an adult, it's adult things.
Industry, you have to be an adult.
No minors, fuck that shit.
Absolutely
but,
never.
I've always wanted to do this. I've always been a whore. I've always been hedonistic and openly sexual. So...
It's like part of your DNA.
Yeah, it was always really hard for me because I grew up in the Bible Belt in a very more conservative on the sexual side area. All the people I was around were not super open about it. Nothing along those lines.
Yeah.
Not a lot of creators or porn. Like, porn was very not talked about or hush-hush.
Like
Didn't get into weird shit.
That's a big bad. You don't watch porn.
And when I got into college, I didn't know what I was doing. I'm one of those people where if I have someone that I can either bounce ideas off of, collaborate with, in all aspects of my life, it's just a lot easier for me.
Yeah.
I'm not good completely solo on a lot of things. Just because I start to lose the drive really quickly. I start to second guess myself, and then I'm just like, this isn't good. Yeah. I don't like what I'm putting out. But if I have someone else that's like, shut the fuck up, it's great. Put it out there. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So it's something I'm glad I'm finally starting to get into now that I'm finally at a point. It was also really hard in college because I lived in a dorm room all 5 years of my college. So I always had another roommate, or I was always surrounded by other people. They're not big, so it's really hard. It's also really hard to make a dorm room pretty as a dude. And I'm not gonna go for an overtly feminine one because it's just like, if I bring over girls with like an extremely feminine room, they're gonna be like, is this your room? And I'm like, I promise it is. But also just growing up where I was, it wasn't I didn't grow up in an area where I felt like I could really be like, hey, do you want to make porn? People would be like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know?
Fair.
People would be like, hell no, and then report you. And I'd be like, well, I did everything I was supposed to. I asked.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's part of moving. Like, that's why most people film porn in LA or Miami or Vegas. It's not like it's You know, it's a very accepted thing. That's
Yeah.
why my biggest point in becoming a sex worker was to destigmatize sexuality and nudity in America as well. I find it bizarre that in a TV show, when someone gets out of bed after sex, they have to carry the blanket with them to the bathroom. No one fucking does that. But in
Well,
like
if it's cold,
in
I've seen it,
European TV, they just go to the bathroom.
cocks out everywhere.
Yeah, it doesn't make because they don't over sexualize nudity.
Yeah, it's great.
I also personally believe that if we didn't wear clothes other than for protecting ourselves from the elements, then we might have a lot less issues. We'd probably be more of an accepting society. Simply because we can also see people's elements, their injuries, their bodies for what they are. And more people will be healthier because they're more aware of their bodies and nudity at all times. I feel like we'd be more.
It'd also be a lot easier to
Like
out predators, abusers, stuff
Yeah.
like that, because you can't hide scars if you're not wearing clothes. You can't
Yeah.
hide. It also really out the kinky people too.
I mean, that's fine though. Like I mean, it's more so like a concept. If we didn't have, like, I feel like clothes bring classism as well. Like how much money you spent on an outfit makes a difference. And
The fact that you
it's
can
fabric
go
is
buy,
fabric.
the fact that you can go buy right now a
Plain cotton white T-shirt for $200 and also one for $2.
or a blazer with ripped holes in it for $4,685 from Gucci is asinine. I'm like, this is a summer tweed thing and it has holes put into it on purpose. I'm like, why would you buy this? It's for the name. And that's classist.
Yeah, it's they're doing class drag, except for they're pretending to be poor. Whereas the contrary, with sex workers typically do class drag to impose being rich.
Yeah.
So it's just a really weird hot take on trying to live in the life of those who have less than you, while also being in a predicament where you can never relate. And so you probably, if you've done without, been homeless, tried to struggle, that's when I don't think you can ever impose that experience on another person by just simply wearing clothing that's distressed and trying to live under your usual means. Like, you know, what's her name, Grimes did. She just pretended to be homeless. You know, she comes from a very rich family and, like, lived in a shitty apartment on purpose, but never actually had to do that. She chose to do that just so she could get some experience points. But, like, I don't think that's a fair game for celebrities and rich people of classes to be able to play, because some of us actually do come from that poverty, having to live off of government assistance and on homeless shelters, and, you know, then when you do get success, you're constantly worried of losing it. It's not the same if you go into it knowing that you don't actually have to do this.
Because
it's different when it's a survival instinct versus a choice.
And then another take on the clothing situation as well. For me, I'm very much a nudist at heart. Like I said earlier, if I can be naked, I'm fucking going to be. But outside of that, I also love wearing clothes. I have clothes that I love to wear because it really helps show off my personality and who I am as a person.
Yeah,
to be fair, those are also it's a form of expression, and my expressions are usually a lot more feminine. I wear a lot of what you would consider girly clothes, a lot of Adidas, but I also don't exude a hyper masculine vibe anyways, so it works out really well. But yeah, clothes are always a weird thing, especially in the sex world, because another fun thing about it is another thing with photography. The reason I don't like boudoir photography so much is because along the lines of trying to desexualize the human body unnecessarily and trying to create that kind of atmosphere, I feel like boudoir is almost impossible to do it because it's an inherently...
It's affirming for some people, though.
Yeah,
they need
but...
it for confidence affirmation, which we were mentioning before. But it is a sexualization of the body, but it's an intentional sexualization.
Which is fine, but to me, it's the let's see if I can put this into... I keep hitting over your water bottle. I'm so sorry. Let's see if I can put this into words in ways that make sense to the normal person. So, to me, if someone's fully clothed in a normal situation, very easy to desexualize that. Not hard at all. If someone's completely naked, I also find that super easy to desexualize.
Personally.
Yes. And, like, just in my photography in general. But if someone's just in their underwear, if it's just underwear, a bikini, something like that, it's very hard for me societally and just in general to desexualize that, because for some reason it's the hidden garment of clothing more so than your full body, because I mean, like, because your body's your body and you're always with that. So you're kind of able to exude a aura about that. But underwear isn't something you're ever going to wear in public.
It depends on who you are.
I know. But, like, I'm talking
Most
about the
people,
average
the average.
American in general.
Yeah.
It's just, it's also just societally, like, if you see it in videos of someone's in their underwear, they're usually either about to fuck or they're being sexualized on TV or something along those lines. There's never anyone or they're being in a very comedic sense, just in general. Like, most Will Ferrell movies. Great movies. But it's one of those things where, like, because of that, especially lingerie is inherently sexual. There's no way you can really say that lingerie isn't to me. But I don't know. That's just one of my things with it's why boudoir is not my favorite thing. Just because it's hard to desexualize.
I'm not trying to desexualize. I would say like when we talked about like destigmatizing.
Yeah.
I don't mean desexualizing. I mean destigmatizing.
Yeah.
Sex in general. But yeah, I can see how that could be kind of conflicting with your goal, with trying to be more about the natural element of business.
But I mean, like, I guess that's more so going on how previous me thought.
A bit sexual just to begin with.
Well, yeah, we have to be. That's
like,
the only way to continue the human race.
Humans is almost like kind of like going away from primal instinct. I'm not saying that we should be overly sexual, but I think desexualizing us, not saying desexualizing nudity is bad, but desexualizing in general might be a bit bizarre because it is a primal tendency to be sexual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I totally get that. I'm more so mean in the sense of desexualizing as one, making people feel like it's okay to be naked.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It's okay to love their bodies.
Yeah.
But also to help bring a change in the way that just because someone is naked or they are sexualizing their body or they're not sexualizing their body and they're just existing in a more undressed sense, that it doesn't mean it's okay for another person to invade their space in any sense of the way. That's another reason a lot of people don't.
Consent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Desexualization. That's all about like personal respect and boundaries.
Yeah. Because that's another thing a lot of people have a hiccup with being nude in general is they're like, oh, someone's gonna they'll either oogle me too hard or they're afraid people will come up and touch them or make fun of them or something like that. And I'm like the touching thing, obviously, but like when it comes to like people making comments, fuck them. Who cares? It's your body. You should know you're hot. You should know you're a great person. There's always people out there that are like interested in you. If one person or a couple of people aren't open to it, fuck them. Who fucking cares? But so to get on a different train of thought for a little bit, I want to get into your kinks.
My kinks.
I wanna explore the kind of stuff that you're into. I've seen a few of them firsthand. You're very much a rope bunny. Is that the term you use? Or?
I don't use rope bunny because I self-suspend a lot, and I have a rope bottom. I'm a rope switch. I feel like rope switch is good because I do tie others, I tie myself, and I am often tied.
Because you're very into rope. Yeah. You're into cellophane. Is that what it was?
Saran wrap.
Saran wrap.
Yeah, I like saran wrap mummification.
Interesting.
That's not a super common thing these days, but I did do it more back when I first started attending play parties. It's interesting. It's niche. It's very random. And then there's like, of course, mental domination and like the brat exchange games type play there.
And for anyone that is listening, if you don't know what any of these kinks are that she's saying, this is some homework for you to go on Google, to go on FetLife, to go on maybe Pornhub sometimes, to go on other sites in which you can learn and figure them out. Maybe you'll find you like something. Maybe you find something you're not okay with, and that's good too. It's good. It's really important to, hey cat, it's really good to know your personal boundaries and what is interesting or not to you as well. But yeah, back to what you were saying.
Yeah, so a couple of those kinks. I also really enjoy psychological domination and submission. There being some sort of structure is important. I do study many principles and philosophies within BDSM, from consent modules like RAC and FRIES, so RAC being risk-aware consensual kink and FRIES being freely informed. Reversible, I believe, FRI, engaged kink, consensual kink, or, yeah, engaged kink. It used to be enthusiastic, but for sex workers, we don't really have to be enthusiastic to be engaged in sex, so we changed the E to engaged. I don't know. I do like impact play to a degree, although I have to avoid bruising because, OnlyFans is not the biggest fan of that. I like degradation and, of course, anything along that task, whether me be degrading someone else.
You're having fun with that word.
It's a hard one to say. It's a really hard one to say. Or vice versa in a certain manner. Although consent's always the key. Like, just because I feel like more people should know the difference between blanket consent versus case-by-case consent. Especially if you're going to consider becoming a sex worker or any sort of entertainment personality. But,
and cats are exempt from that because they just don't give a fuck.
No, she needs to... But case-by-case consent is generally the case for any scenario that you're not in a relationship with someone that's committed. So, like, if you haven't discussed it, case-by-case, so the moment you determine, like, the scene, whatever the proximity of that is, it's only valid within that time. So the next time you see them, you may not be able just to come up and kiss them. They may not be okay with that, because you're not dating, but you are playing around. So it's good to always kind of check in to see where whoever you're playing around with or partnered with is at. But when you have blanket consent, generally all things are okay unless otherwise spoken of. So,
and that's also where safe words are always important.
Well, safe words are important regardless.
Yeah.
But definitely, like, well, blanket consent applies to, like, imagine a relationship. Like, it'd be okay to come up and hug your girlfriend randomly. You don't have to ask her every time you come up and touch her butt, or, give her a kiss because you're in a relationship. There's blanket consent provided. But, like, if you were going to do something new, you'd probably still discuss it. And if something were to change emotionally, where something wasn't okay, like she didn't want to be touched that day, you would speak up. Or he, not to assume gender. But
or them.
Yeah, or
and
them.
Everything in between.
They, Zen. I'm trying to learn these new ones. They have, not new, but they're new to me, because I've only recently met someone that uses these alternative pronouns. I've gotten accustomed to they, them, and now
I'm definitely at the point to where I just assume everyone is they, them until they tell me otherwise, and even then, just to be safe, I just say they. I'll refer to them as them, just in case. Because like I'm fucking shit with names, and I'm really bad at remembering people's names. So I'm just like that person over there.
Well, some trans people really like the affirmation. Like, it's good to, like, for a trans woman or a trans man, like, saying he and she may be important to them, so they don't feel like they are non-binary.
And I definitely try to do that. It's just unless I know you well enough and I can fucking remember you on command, I'm gonna usually revert to I'm gonna revert to they, them, because it's just like, man, I'm gonna get this wrong if I don't, and I don't want to get this wrong because then I'm an asshole.
Yeah.
But so with kinks, do you have any that you haven't really explored but you're super interested in that you're comfortable talking about? Is there anything like really weird that you've tried before that's like you're just like, oh, this was something?
I've done some weird stuff. I mean, I wouldn't say weird, but something I want to do more of that I haven't done in a very long time is, we were talking about it briefly last night, like fire massaging.
I saw some of that when we were at the place last night. And
they do some demos every now and
cool.
again. Yeah, and I've had a fire massage before, and I think that's very fascinating. I definitely... I
feel like my ass would catch on fire if I did that.
You have to be... You can't have hair.
Yeah.
The smell. It smells bad.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that part.
Yeah. But, ultimately, I think there's a lot that I've explored, a lot that I found I didn't like, and that I found that I did. And I feel like if there was anything that came to mind that I wanted to try, I'd pretty much pursue it instantly. That's kind of how I go. Maybe one day, once I have the stamina, like, I don't do anal yet, but I would love to probably do a DP in my future. Create some pretty crazy content. Like, I want to, my real long-term goal may not be a fetish, but, like, I really want to work for kink.com. Like, that's something I've been talking about forever. I've fantasized about it since I ever found their work, and...
I definitely want to get published in a magazine. That's a goal. Like a reputable magazine, not just like any run-of-the-mill one. Like, I want to get published in like a Hustler or
why not?
Like a Playboy. What?
You want to get published? You want to get
published? Yeah, I do. Oh, I'm talking like...
It wasn't good enough.
No, I'm talking...
Where are you trying to go with porn? I'm not going to take you anywhere else.
No, I'm talking like I don't... Like
a Taboo Mag, they take new photographers.
yeah, well, I'm talking like I don't really care. You know, like it's a magazine, but it's only on like Instagram kind of thing. Those ones, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm not gonna say no, but it's not like
It's like
a
web
goal
article.
of mine.
Yeah, you don't want just a web article. You want like.
I also really want to work for National Geographic. That's completely outside of sex work in general. But like,
Yeah.
I love wildlife photography. I'm working on. That's why I'm living out of my car, so I can go into the woods and start
Yeah.
taking photos of animals because I love that shit.
I'm so impressed that you managed to live out of your car. I need my space. I need my creature comforts. And
I've just
home
every
business.
year since I graduated college, I've realized I have too much space, and the less space I have, the happier I am.
You're rare. You're a rare breed.
I like to have everything as condensed and packed together as possible because then I'm just looking at a bunch of empty space and I'm like, oh, I have to get more shit now. It causes me to spend money, and I also don't have a partner, so it's just like I don't. For me, living in an apartment by myself is just rough.
Yeah, it's hard to on the mental if you're not ready for that type of adjustment. Like
I can handle it, no problem. I just don't love it.
Yeah, like I like it. I like it, but I also enjoy being able to have people around when I feel so inclined. And so I'd imagine, yeah, you're more social. You need to.
I
be able to socialize.
crave attention.
You do. You do.
It was a lot of fun last night.
You don't think you're having a time of your life.
So real quickly, I do want to open up to your chat if they have any, if you guys have any questions that you're curious about. I know I've never met any of you guys before, or anything along those lines. I'd love to answer y'all's questions for my podcast as well.
If you have any.
But
the
while
are a little quiet, or maybe they'll actually socialize. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. You can ask questions about me, and I'll answer this as open chat for even dirty questions right now.
ooh,
I'll let you guys ask free dirty questions. Do we play with couples?
we've never actually played with each other to begin with.
We're not a couple. We are
Yeah.
good friends, though. Well, we're becoming better friends, I'd say. We met at like an Exotica Miami.
For how little of an amount of time we've known each other, I'd say we're pretty solid friends.
Yeah, I'd say so. We meshed pretty quickly.
But also, while we're doing this, while I'm letting you guys come up with questions and whatnot, I do want to take this time to throw out your social medias so people can get it, so that they don't have to wait till the end of the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Because we'll do that again at the end of the podcast, obviously. But
I am Googleable, so IvyMinxxx, Ivy Minxxx, that's me. You can find me pretty much everywhere. I have a website that's ivyminxxx.com. There's OnlyFans, Pornhub, ManyVids, Chatterbait, Sex
So many
Cafes,
things.
So many things. Twitter, Instagram, Reddit, TikTok, YouTube, whatever. I got it. I try to keep it. My Discord's my favorite thing, though, I'd say, for the freebies, if you want to get in somewhere free.
Yeah.
For the premium content, that's all my friends.
also, y'all, if y'all are going to ask questions, if you can specify who you want the question to be geared towards, would make it a lot easier for us as well. If you want both of us, it's fine.
Yeah.
So, am I okay to say people's names, or should I just keep that?
Fine. No.
Okay.
These are usernames they have on the internet. That's
Okay.
them.
So, One Man Band 19 asks, what kind of gear do I like to use to do my photography? Thank you. I like that question. It's always a fun one. I am a super gear nerd. Really big into it. I specifically use for most photography just because digital is the way to go nowadays. I use a Canon 5D Mark IV. I have 3 lenses that I currently use, and there's like 3 or 4 more that I want to get. It's so expensive. It hurts my bank.
Make an Amazon wish list.
I know. Man, if someone bought me lenses off an Amazon wish list, I would be so...
You never know.
I would cry.
You never know.
But I use a 70 to 200 millimeter lens for long range, wildlife, and concert photography. The one I use the most is a 24 to 105, not prime, just 24 to 105 F-series lens, I believe is the correct term. I'm probably fucking that up. But it's it just covers everything from close-up wide angles to not super far range shots, but it gets I've never had a problem. I can do most things with it. Yes, L-series lens. Thank you so much. Yeah, they're fucking amazing. And then I use a 50 prime if I'm doing just straight portraiture or studio work, just because it gets exactly what I want. Outside of that, I am a very big film Still film photography. I have to. It's hard to like differentiate that from video. I don't do a whole lot of videography, but I'm getting more into it. But I specifically work with medium format photography, which means my camera is massive. It's an 8-pound fucking camera built in 1985. I've been able to track it down. It's a Mamiya RB67. So to give you a little run through of it, I told you this stuff gets off the rails every once in a while. I love it. To give you a run through, so 35 millimeter film, which is what most people know film to be, is about yay big. 120 film is about this wide in diameter, so it's just a much significantly larger image quality. So if I always like to tell people, like if I was going to take a picture of Ivy here, if I took just a picture of her crotch at like a decent angle, like a good looking angle, I could, with a medium format camera, all film or sheet film for the medium format. It's roll. It's not a sheet. Sheet film is really only a large format. No worries. I nerd the fuck out too.
We wanted questions, so keep asking questions.
So if I were to take a picture of her crotch, I always like to tell people I could comfortably blow it up to the size of her back wall here, and it'd still be completely in focus. Nothing would be out of, like, it wouldn't look weird, but you could also see the individual pores of her hair. And it's so cool because I've done it once with a friend, and it's so cool because you can see everything.
I've done micro photography inside my vagina and found that my cervix was heart-shaped.
Oh, that's so fucking cool.
I know. I have a picture, so I'm like, yeah, it's actually heart-shaped. I have a heart-shaped, like, hairline and facial shape and everything else.
We're getting into my work now. Ronan Panda asks, when rigging, do you do lighting, sound, and props, etc.? So, this is where the rest of the podcast is going to go. And we're obviously, I'm going to stick around if you want to on your stream and just answer questions in general and see what goes about it.
It's a long podcast. Let them ask questions.
Yeah. So when rigging, do you do lighting, sound, prop, etc.? So I have a bachelor's degree in theater and photography. I do everything and just about anything in that sense. I'm also a collegiately trained actor. I do everything behind the scenes. I can do stuff in front of it. I don't like the people enough to get into it. That's why I'm getting into sex work, because I let you do your own thing with other people who also agree with you generally wholeheartedly. But so rigging wise, I mean, I've been a stagehand for 5 years at this point. I've just started doing rigging, but I'm super confident, super good at it. Sounds super egotistical to say, but like I'm at the point where I have to come and fix other people's mistakes because people are stupid. But I basically, like, if you're at a music venue or a concert, I hang the points in which motors are hung from, which in turn I also do the rigging that connects the motor to the truss for lighting or a set piece or all other kinds of shit. And I'm the one of the people, there's multiple. I'm one of the people that's responsible for making it safe to be in the air. I'm not the one that gives it the final call. That's the engineer, and they get paid a whole shit ton more than I do, and they're responsible. I'm gonna get in trouble. They're gonna get arrested if something falls on stage, kind of thing.
Yeah.
They have the final say.
They have a livelihood.
Yes. They also have insurance because they're the ones that make the calls. But yeah. So my dad was a lighting sound technician, so I grew up rigging shows. Oh, dope. Yeah. So I travel for work. I mostly just do music festivals at this point because it's better money and it's what I like to do. I get to go fucking party on show days and still get paid to do it. You know, I really can't complain. So we outside of that, like, I legitimately just build the stage itself as well. Like, outside of the decking and all that, you have to put in scaffolding for the decking to go on, but then the towers in which hold up the upper part of the stage and the roof of the stage is all rigging. I have to set the pins for that, make sure everything's connected correctly. I literally sit on the roof while it rises up. That takes like 3 hours of a day. I'm just casually sitting there, not doing a whole lot other than paying attention. I promise I'm paying attention. If anyone knows me somehow, I pay attention up there. And once it gets up to the roof, we have to connect it to the top part of the tower so that it sustains the weight of everything else that we're going to put on it. Because you can't just have it hanging off of motors that you bring it up with to do. Because otherwise it's going to fall. And that would kill everyone.
That'd be bad.
Yeah. I've yet to hurt anyone doing it, and I don't plan on doing that anytime soon. Outside of just, like, you know, messing with a hammer and punching steel, or, like, you're gonna get cut and scraped from climbing over steel and whatnot, no matter what you do. So, like, I always end up with scars all over my hands and whatnot. But, like, in terms of, like, a legitimate accident, no, I've never dropped anything. I've never hurt anything. I fell for the first time, quote unquote, in the air. The last gig I was doing, but we were 6 feet off the ground, so I wasn't really gonna get hurt, and I fell in a way in which, so, like, I was on a bar, like, I fell to where it was just, like, straight crotch, and I didn't hit my dick, thankfully. I would have hurt. I managed to land just complete butt cheeks.
Infertile.
Yeah, and I bruised my leg. I've still got the bruise right here, actually.
Where that was from.
Yeah, from falling on steel.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, I mean, I love my job. I don't necessarily want to do it for the rest of my life.
Probably couldn't. It's physically laborious.
You'd be surprised. I know people that have been doing it since they were 14, and they're almost 80 now.
Jesus.
Yeah. And they're still in the air. No, they're the same level as me.
Jesus.
People don't know how to climb the ladder of success. They just know how to climb the ladder of a stage. But that's also why I do photography. I really want to get big in the sex world, obviously. Because I don't like the idea of having just a single source of income, because that's how you end up getting fucked over when, say, a pandemic happens. Because my livelihood, as soon as the pandemic happened, was wiped out. There was no shows. There was no music. There was no personal or no in-person anything. So there was nothing for me to do. I had to go work at Walmart during the pandemic, and that was one of the worst things I've ever done. Oof, water, it's important.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, and if any of you guys have more questions, feel free to ask, but let's see where we're at in time. Stop, Siri, no, fuck you. Cool,
Yeah.
we're doing good.
And dirty questions are allowed for this portion of the podcast, so.
I'm also, I'm super open. I have nothing to hide. I'm a fucking kooky, quirky exhibitionist of a man. I love it.
Oof.
Goddamn. It's the carbonated water.
Yeah, and it's some fizzy. Is it
my
blood
favorite shit.
orange?
Yeah. Not bad.
Yeah.
I prefer the Walmart
old
ones, but
Kroger.
that's because I'm a Walmart boy.
Didn't you say you didn't shop at Walmart?
No, I almost exclusively. I hate shopping at them.
Someone told me they're like, I avoid. You said it at the coffee shop this morning.
I try to avoid it, but I can't
said
because
that
that's
this morning at
the
the
only
coffee-
thing that's where I live, and it's all I
True.
know, and it has all the name brand stuff that I prefer.
Yeah, that's fair.
But
Not Sam's Club or anything?
Sam's Club is a Walmart affiliate.
Oh, you're right.
It's the Costco of Walmart.
That's fair.
But I do have a Sam's card,
They're cool.
and it's the cheapest gas you'll ever find anywhere. If you ever need gas, it's cheap. Cheapest.
I wonder why it's cheaper there.
Because they make so much goddamn money from everything else that they're able to subsidiate their gas prices to a lower cost, because that
Make
brings because if they sell their gas at a cheaper price, this has nothing to do with sex, and I love it.
Oh, it's fine. I love
my
this.
favorite
Watch
parts
it
of the podcast. So for Sam's Club and Walmart also is usually, if there's not a Sam's Club around, the cheapest gas you're gonna find in an area. Because Walmart makes so much goddamn money that they can sell their gas at a cheaper price, which brings more people to get gas there, that they're like, hey, I'm already at Walmart. Why don't I just go ahead and do some grocery shopping? And then they make their money back on the stuff that they sell at a higher price. Because they're not losing a ton of money in terms of, like, Walmart money.
No.
But they're not turning a profit on gas ever.
You gave him a nerd boner. One
Hey.
man band.
Hey, I'm always down to give people boners.
And like twerking in front of random strangers at Waffle House at 2
I am a performer.
It was actually quite brilliant. You matched the energy well.
Yeah, I'm great.
You were tearing it up at that Waffle House.
But But yeah, so to jump back into one-on-one conversations for a bit, if other people's questions will
You
answer
keep rolling
those
the
at some
questions and we'll come back to them. Yeah. Feel
Um,
free to ask, though. Open table.
So I want to get into making content with other people, because you do that.
I do that.
Do you do it super often?
I'm very selective these days. I used to do more collaborations than I do now, but I still often collaborate. I just collaborate with people that I have a good connection
Yeah.
with. I've come to terms and accepted that I'm a bit more on the demisexual end
Yep.
of how I want to do my content. Does
I've
not mean
noticed.
I need a full like dimmy vibe. I'm not completely dimmy, but I feel like I need some sort of.
It's always nice to have a good
Yeah.
connection with somebody
I
in
don't
general,
want to film content that I can't be proud of. And the last, like, my biggest
or that you can't get off to.
well, not even that, getting off to it. It's just a matter of, like, I want to make genuine content, and if I don't have a connection, I can't really have a genuine experience with that person. It's not going to be as authentic or as connective as I typically would want to have content. It's like my most recent BG film, which is kind of like, it was in Chicago, but that was the best thing I probably filmed because, like, I met him that day, we had a really good rope session, we talked, we scheduled, we discussed everything we did in advance before filming, signed paperwork, did the cameras on. And I scored it twice. I mean, it was amazing. So, you know, but having those connections are few and far, and so when I find them, I take
Is
them.
that the one in the arcade?
No, this was the one in the hotel room we tied up. It's,
okay.
It's called Bound to be Primal.
I don't think I saw that one yet.
Probably not. It's a pay-per-view one, but there is a trailer posted.
I meant more so just like scrolling through your Twitter feed. I don't think I noticed it, but
it's a little further down because it was from around the time I was in Chicago.
So then, along with that, are there? I mean, obviously, there's people you prefer to work with, but like, is there a gender do you prefer working with genders? Do you care all that much?
No, I work with trans models. I work with males, females, groups, couples. It really just.
I just didn't know if there was like you tend more towards a specific group of.
It's easier. I would say it's more often that I collaborate with females, just because there are more females in the industry.
And it's easier to find, I guess, non-problematic in a sense
Nobody
compared to.
would say not. No, they're still problematic. It's just that's why I also gauge too. It's like I get to know people to find out if they're problematic. I like to think I have a decent judge of character these days. I have been a bit naive in the past and let people into my environment that weren't as respectful as they should have been with my energy. And you live and learn from that. But it does put your guards up. Like, I've had instances in this industry where things have happened to me that shouldn't have, or misconceptions, or just backwards things like
And
that.
just communication didn't
Well,
go
like,
to the level it needed to be.
Yeah, like, well, consent violations, too.
Yeah.
I mean, just because this industry is based on sex does not mean that people are sex aware and educated.
Yeah.
So consent is often, not often, I wouldn't say often, but if you're not cautious with who you're selecting to work with, it can be violated, whether that be consent during the sexual act or the scene, or consent of the content being posted and how it's published. I've had people that I filmed 2 videos with, and we both got one, and they ended up getting the other one and posting both of them and not giving me the other copy. And so that's kind of like a fuck over. Like,
Yeah.
You don't do that. Like, if you film 2 videos, you might as well just give both of each other so you can both trade it. If you're doing a content trade, then don't post both footages in it publicly, especially where I can see it. That's not a good look. But some talent do that, and then they don't get their scenes anymore. They stop getting people to want to work with them. It definitely makes a difference. If you're going to be a sex worker, be ethical.
Yeah.
You know, if you work with someone, give them their content, and if you agree to do a certain thing, do that thing. Don't hoard it. Like, I have streams from people I've worked with I still have yet to receive. Like, recordings of content. Hours of it that I could be selling.
I know so many people that are in that same, not even just like
it's a tedious
sex work
thing.
wise as well, just like photographers in general are also really bad about giving people their photos.
It's not fair, in my opinion. I thought that's not fair. I understand if you have time and you're busy, but if I'm willing to go through and spend my time to get you my end of the content, like I have the footage too, or some footage, and I'm going to edit it and send it to you within a timely manner. I understand a month or so, but if it takes a year,
because for me, whenever I'm doing a photo shoot with somebody, as soon as we're done,
it's a pet peeve.
even beforehand, I let them know it's going to take me.
Exactly.
I always try to get a photo shoot done
about
about 2.
Communicate.
Well, I always try to get people. I always try to get a photo shoot done at least within 2 weeks of the shoot being done.
Yeah.
just because
Respectful. That's a
it
fun time.
it also it's a really big pet peeve of mine because I feel like I'll forget if I take more than 2 weeks.
Same,
I
I
try to
know.
get it within a week, but it's
Even if
really
I don't edit it, I'll still send you the raw footage in that certain time frame. Like, I get it, people are busy, but if I'm going to take the time to take those photos of you or to make content with you, it's the least I can do.
Well, I'll never send
publish
someone the
it.
raw photos. Those are
raw photos versus raw video is different. I guess. Like, for me, I will
video I'm fine with, but my photos are like that is my mark on the world.
Yeah.
What I edit is what you're gonna get. I'm one of those people. You do not edit. Don't add a fucking filter to what I gave somebody.
I don't
unless
filter
we
my content, but if I
you know what I'm saying.
I'm an editor too and a photographer. So if I get raw images, I'm going to, raw obviously I'm going to modify, take up the lighting and fix the contrast and set up the code and put it on all of them. But yeah, that's like I won't put a Instagram filter on it. Absolutely not. The most I do is like if it's too dark, I'll adjust the brightness. Yeah. For personal preference.
See, for me,
I'm not mean.
See, for me, if it's one of those things, because I always keep the original photos, I always have a copy of the originals, and I have a copy of the edited photos. So if someone ever gets in a situation where they're like, hey, I don't necessarily like how this is edited, I'd much rather them text me that and be like, hey, can you re-edit this one? I'd be like, fuck yeah, okay, let's do that. It's just a lot easier.
It's nervous. Like, I will say, if you're going to edit my photos, do not Photoshop my face.
I don't.
Period. I cannot
I hate
do
it. I hate it so much.
In the beginning, my photographer that I work with most would pinch my lips, and it made them look smaller, made me very insecure.
Weird.
And that photo downstairs, that big photo, the lips are pinched in that one, and I did not like it. But like that's the only thing. I don't accept Photoshop. I do not Photoshop myself. I do not touch up my touching up skin a little bit's fine, but I don't like if I have a blemish, I have a blemish.
My philosophy is I'm never going to do. I don't personally believe it's really ethical to alter who someone is in an image. Mm-hmm. So, like, if I take a picture of you as you are, I'm not going to give you bigger tits. I'm not going to...
Don't get rid of my fat roll.
I don't change people's fat rolls or just rolls in general. I'm not going to change what your hair fucking looks like. Like, worst comes to worst, hair... Like, I will edit hair every once in a while because there's, like...
Like a stray.
There's, just that clump of, like, stray and whatnot. I'll get those because that's super easy, super quick. It doesn't affect the photo at all.
The structure of the person.
I edit the colors and how the lighting looks in a photo, and like say it's not so much a thing that I deal with when I'm working with models or people in the professional atmosphere, but if I'm working with people who aren't really models, if they have blemishes, if they have acne, if they have bags under their eyes, just like something that's not normally there, you know?
Or it's being highlighted by the photo because of the camera quality.
Yeah. I'm not, like, I'll edit those. Like, if you're having an acne breakout or something, I'll get rid of those. If you have a cold sore or something like that, I'll get rid of that. But if, like, I'm not going to get rid of your scars, I'm not going to get rid of someone's tattoos, I'm not going to change the way your face looks, because that's just not ethical to me.
That won't shoot tattoo models bother me. I remember when I was a younger model, getting started in the fetish photography world, there was a photographer who would make me put on makeup to cover up all my tattoos because he said it was too hard for him to edit with my tattoos.
That's weird. Just
don't edit. He loved my body, loved my face, hated my ink. And
it's just so weird.
He was like, it's just too it fucks with the contrast. It's too complicated to edit. And I'm thinking to myself,
better.
It's not that hard. You just don't. He wanted to Photoshop me and touch me up.
Yeah.
And he could not easily do that with my tattoo. And I don't like being Photoshopped, which is a great reason to get more tattoos, because it makes it harder to do that.
It also makes it easier.
My tattoo loses integrity if you fucked with it.
Also, in this realm of work, it also makes it easier for someone to steal your image, because it's very obvious. Like, no one's gonna have that.
No,
for the most
no
part.
one's gonna have this.
Yeah.
No one's gonna have any of my work.
No one's gonna have my fucking hoe tattoo.
Well, maybe someone could do that, but not the same font.
I mean, you could do it, but no one's gonna have it. Like, I don't know anyone's gonna do it.
Most of my tattoos are done by someone I know.
No one's gonna have this.
I like that. I didn't even notice that. That's Shibari.
Have you not seen this one yet?
No.
Yeah, no, it's a girl in shibari rope tied up, covered in flowers, like her head's covered and her legs covered.
I dig that.
I'll show the stream real quick for it. By the way, I'm fully naked.
Yes, nudity.
Yeah, so this is one of my favorite ones. I don't know if you guys can clearly see it super well, but fucking love it. I got it for free because I was sleeping with my tattoo artist at the time, and she was like, "Do you want a tattoo?" And I'm like, "Well, I ain't gonna say no." So back to collaborating with other people. I'm curious, are there people you're excited to work with, you really want to work with, or?
There are definitely some people I have in my mind of who I want to work with in the future that would be good, like a goal, like John Paul the Pope from Kink.com. He's been on my roster forever, simply because he's someone that inspired me to take rope seriously. Of course, Kanoku, which is a shibari artist, like I'm not saying I want to work with him per se, but like he also inspired me. Other talent that I can think off the top of my head that I'd really like to work with. That I haven't worked with already. That's a really hard question.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah, no, it's a good point to make. There's
'Cause I've told you-
faces I've seen, but there's not a lot of people that come directly to mind that I haven't worked with. That I'm like, I really, really, really. Okay, well, Tantric Eden Lilith, she's really great. I am friends with her, but I have not worked with her yet. I would love to work with her. I would love to work with Peppermint and Dusty. They're another Chatterbait. These are Chatterbait models
Yes.
I'm referring to right now. I would love to work with Ali Exhale. We did a little bit of fire stuff together, but we haven't done anything else. She's phenomenal. Would love that. There's a few other people that come to mind. Jack and Jill. They would be interesting to get to know them.
It would be so much
I've
fun.
talked to them. I've had a couple conversations. They're really
I love
neat.
their streams.
Yeah, they're really good.
Because I've told you a few of mine
Yeah.
a few times.
Eva is great. Ashley Daniels is great.
I want those two. I want to work with so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Which if you can put in a way, I know I would love it. Because I'll actually be in Texas for a while.
Yeah.
I already talked to her about it. And I don't think we'll be there at the same time. But I would happily, while I'm out in
They're
LA,
always traveling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would while I'm out in LA, I would happily drive back to wherever they're located. I
Yeah.
don't know it, but I don't need to know it.
Yeah, I mean,
but-
they're most people are so constantly traveling. The home base doesn't really matter because
Yeah.
they're never there. That's
But like
me.
if I would, it's one of those situations where
But yeah, I get you saying.
I want she's one of the top people, especially chatterbait wise, just because she's one of my favorite people. So like I will do whatever I can to work with her, like as a photographer or collaborator or in any sense of the word. I'd love to
Yeah.
have her on this podcast.
Yeah.
I would so many questions for her. But them, Liv and Drew are two really big people for
They're
me.
Cool.
My ultimate goal is Lena Paul.
Yeah, you said that.
Absolute favorite. Lauren Phillips is another person. I got to meet her briefly at Exotica.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful human being. Another
Alex
like
Cole on my end.
yeah.
I feel like I need to work with her now simply because she knew who I was. I was so flabbergasted that Alex Cole did.
and
that.
Lexi.
Oh, I know Lexi.
I know. I'm talking about for me though.
Yeah.
Like I
Lexi's
would
my
love to work
girl.
with them.
Lexi is my girl.
God, what's his name? The dude that's in all of the Step Bro videos. Curly hair. I think his name's Tyler something. I know. Well, if you guys know,
The small hands on my end, but he would probably never want to work with me. Although I messaged him one time when I went to LA at 19, and I was like, "Hey, can I work with you?" And he was like, "Oh, if you signed to Brazzers, sure, that's who I'm working with right now." They only accept let me work with people in the industry. But I saw he worked with people that were not signed to Brazzers recently. But I'm also like, not in LA, and I don't think that I don't know. He works with girls that look just like his wife, and I don't look like her.
yeah.
I don't look like Joanna Angel. I'm sorry.
Who else? There's a few other people that I would really love to get to the point to where I can work with in any sense of the word, whether it be as a photographer or as a collaborator or duo stream or anything like that. Which I have a long way to go. I just started in a
Yeah,
sense.
you did just start. It took me 3 years.
Yeah, but I personally believe I have the energy and the
Your personality.
charisma and personality to really make it happen a little bit quicker in a sense.
Okay, yeah.
I've never had a problem being shy or anything,
No,
so
you're
I
not
don't.
shy.
Yeah, I don't feel bad asking for things.
Not shy.
But yeah, so out of that, let's go ahead and you want to answer this
There's
question
a
real
couple
quick?
more. What is it that you do? Your niche. We could both answer that, but for me, what I do is I'm a variety content creator. So I do everything from porn to camming, fetish. Niche would probably just be fetishes in general. So I don't stray too far. I'll do anything from lunar fetish, which is balloons, to voy, which is giantess, rope bondage, saran wrap. We've talked about a lot of these already, but yeah, anything that's going to be kinky and niche is pretty much my niche. My niche is being niche.
For me, I do I'm a photographer. I'm a stagehand / rigger for. I mean, I've been doing that forever. That's my main source of income right now. Kink wise, I'm very much an exhibitionist, a voyeurist. I do kind of want to get into rope and whatnot just because I already do rigging for work, and they're two completely separate forms of rigging, but like, you know, learning all forms is really helpful in any sense of the term. I want to get, I don't know, I'm still learning. I'm not an extremely kinky person. I'm very much a people pleaser. Like, if someone else is into something, I'm like, I want to make them have a good time and whatnot, because, like, I'm going to end up enjoying it no matter what. I do have a really bad mommy dom situation, which, like, not bad in, like, a bad way.
Down
but
bad for mommy doms.
yeah, like, just a girl coming in and being like, oh, you precious little thing, let's get you something to eat. I'm just like... Or like someone comes in, like, if we're doing a scene, it's like, how was school today, or something like that. I'm just like,
I'll look at you funny for that one.
I also love my wearing a maid outfit. I'm not a huge thing. I'm not huge onto like into sissy play for myself. Like, no kink shaming by any means. These are just not what I'm into. I have my maid outfit. I love wearing that and just being myself because it's a really fun dichotomy. But I like doing acts of service. I don't necessarily enjoy being forced to do it or being humiliated in a sense. I like being sternly talked to, or someone's kind of just like a bitch about it, but not like just like, you
Mommy
know, fuck
down
you tiny cock piece of shit. I don't like that. But like, if someone's like, you know, you could be better or something like that, I like that kind of stuff.
You could do better.
It's like, I'm giving her all she's got. So yeah, were there any other questions that came up, or was that the only one of that
see
term?
anymore, but you guys are more than welcome to ask any open floor questions that accepts dirty questions, regular questions that you have for us to finish up our show, our podcast.
Outside of that, I'm gonna plug my social media because I've yet to do that.
Oh yeah, plug yourself. While they wait for questions.
Yeah, for the people listening on my podcast, thank you for sticking around this long. I hope to have you come back on further ones. I am predominantly on Instagram for a lot, just because that's the easiest place to show my photography. I'm on there as Twisted Taffy _ photos. I really got to work on making everything the same, so I don't have to remember like 6 different things. My Twitter is at Taffy K. My Chatterbaits is, we wrote these all down.
Taffy K.
Is also Taffy K, and I'm starting to get into streaming more often. It's one of those things where it's kind of hard for me. As I do travel, and I'm usually in a hotel room or camping with several other people around me, so I can't do it a whole lot, but I'm working on figuring out ways in which I can do it.
The hotel room would be easier, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thankfully, the person I stay in the hotel room is also she has an OnlyFans, but she doesn't really use it anymore. She was a girl that, they were a person, my bad. They were a person that really just did it for the hell of it and enjoyed it for a bit, but it wasn't really for them.
Yeah. It's not for everybody.
But very kinky person, and would totally be cool with, you know, getting the fuck out of the room for a little bit while I do my thing, or possibly joining, because it's, you know, they can make an account easily. It doesn't take too long.
Yeah.
But let's see what else. My Fansly, which is also finally starting to post stuff on there. That one will be used more often than Chatterbait will. Chatterbait will probably be more of a thing if like a Q&A session, or if I'm doing a podcast, especially if I can do duo streams with people. If I can have another person, I'm obviously a lot more entertaining if I can go off of someone else's energy in the room. Not to say I can't do that by myself, but I don't know. We still got to see where it goes.
Oh, yeah.
My Fansly is, where's that at? Bro. I'm so bad at this. I will get it down eventually.
Twisted _ Taffy.
Yeah, Twisted _ Taffy. What else do I don't have? I'm making a mani vids soon. I don't really use OnlyFans. I didn't love that platform compared to Fansly. I know it's the same.
People.
I know it's the same, but I just like how the interface is of Fansly, just a little bit better.
Okay.
What am I missing? I did Twitter. I did Instagram. I did Fansly.
Worst case scenario, you could plug it in the comments.
Oh yeah, it's definitely you're definitely gonna see it in the bio. It's just I gotta get better at learning it. I gotta work on making them all the same.
So Bill,
I don't have a Pornhub yet, but I will start. This will be posted on Pornhub. If you want to watch the video, this will be posted on my Manny
You're already
Vids.
watching it on Pornhub. Board Menu Vids right now, so hi.
Yes. Well, they could also very well be listening to it on all the other streaming
Who
platforms.
knows? They could be.
That's where most of my listeners are right now.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Which hopefully it'll grow. Also, definitely hope you're enjoying it. If you like this episode, please go back and watch my other episodes. Definitely a growing experience, and you're gonna learn some fucking wild shit about me. Oh my god, I didn't hold anything back.
I'm sure you didn't.
So there was another.
We have some couple questions. Yeah. So Bill_CB was asking. So where can I see your films? Which you just specified, but
I don't have any yet.
Yeah,
working on it.
I have films, and those you can find all over the internet under the name IvyMinxxx, Ivy Minxxx. Pornhub, ManyVids, OnlyFans, etc. Pretty much where you can buy videos, you can find them. And if you need to find my specific websites, you can check out ivyminxxx.com. STKPat81 asks, what is your favorite sexual experience? That's a hard question, but not impossible. Favorite sexual experience on my hands? Kind of hard to say. I've had a lot of really good ones.
I've just had so many.
The first one that comes to mind was the one that damaged me the most after. I came home from the BDSM club one night with the married couple I was seeing at the time, and we proceeded to get into some shibari, into their, like a frame point in a spare bedroom. And unfortunately, after getting fingered and fucked and fondled for quite a while, I realized once I was untied that I had paralyzed my left hand. And my radial and ulnar nerve were sheared. So it took 2 months to recover from that, although for the first week and a half I felt like it was still worth it, and then when my hand just didn't come back, I was like, is it really worth it? But it was awesome. It was a full suspension, great experience. But that's the first one that comes to mind.
So if we're just going off of sexual experiences we've had, because that's how
your preference, like a good one, like a really good one.
Yeah, that's how I interpreted the question, not so much like ones you're interested in trying. Are we allowed to talk about drug use? No. Okay, well then I can't talk about my main one.
You can say it without saying it.
I'll think of another one, because it's let's see. It's so hard. It's really hard for me because I've had a lot.
Or
I'm crazy. I don't really count any of the ones from before 18 just because they were still very much a learning experience, and it's weird to talk about.
Yeah, I don't really count that either. I count my adult experiences.
This one's an easy one. Fucking the first time I ever cucked a dude was dope as shit. It was a great time. So I was at my local gay club. All-inclusive bar. It's open to everyone, but, heavily queer. I was there, doing my thing, having fun, and there were these two girls just getting up and around on every dude they could. Totally cool. And eventually it got to be my turn, and we had a great time. I, showed off my strength and some fun, moves and stuff on the dance floor. And we danced for a bit, and then they moved on and went to different people throughout the night. And I was like, oh, okay, that's it. So then the end of the night rolls around. It's closing time. Everyone's getting out. Closing time. And we, I'm standing outside of the bar waiting to see if any of my friends need a ride home, because I always give people rides home, because a lot of people either Uber, and I'm just like, don't pay money to Uber. I live right around here. I can take you fucking home. It's easier. But these girls come up to me and they start making out with me. Loving it. It's fine. I don't care.
She will destroy everything you own if you're
I'm
not careful.
But yeah, so they started making out with me. It was a great time. And then I get a tap on my, they scamper off just like over the other side, and I get a tap on my shoulder. And I turn around and the dude's like, so, did you enjoy making out with my wife? And immediately I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to fucking fight. I don't fight. I'm gonna have to prepare for this. God damn it. He's like, no, it was cool. It was kind of hot to watch. Would you be interested in fucking her? And I was like, I'm gonna need to hear that from her mouth. So then her and her friend come over and they're like, yeah, we would love to fuck you. And I was like, well, yeah, I'm not gonna say no to this. I'm 19 at the time. Fucking dirty little whore. Fucking great time. So I take them to we go get food because it's been a long night. Go back to their place. The girls go upstairs to freshen up, get ready. And the dude's sitting there talking to me, and he's like, so do you think you have what it takes to make this a good time for my wife? And I'm like, dog, I'm 19, extremely horny all the time. Like I'm already hard. I've been hard since you guys told me you were interested. I'm not gonna have any problem. So yes, I'll be fine. He's like, well, my wife hates it when dudes can't get it up. So here, take this. And he hands me Cialis. And well, I didn't know what it was at the time. And I asked her. He was like, oh, it's a Cialis. I'm like, I don't need this. But also at that age, I wasn't gonna say no. If it ended up being a roofie, it ended up being a roofie. But I was just like, you already got me here. Why would you do that? So I was like, I'm confident. So like I took it, made it so fun. It was weird. Didn't have to pay any attention to like maintaining an erection or being like hard at all. Just happened. Couldn't get it down if I wanted to. But like we fucked for a while, and then like he joined in for a bit with the neighbor, who was the other girl, and got really rough with her. It was weird, but like they were cool with it, so I did. Jesus Christ.
She's getting chubby and she can't lift herself as much.
So ended up going to town. It was a great time. It was like 2 or 3 hours of fucking because I ended up fucking both of them. I have ungodly stamina. It's
not to brag.
I don't love it. It gets annoying at points. It's just like I just want to come
so
sometimes.
Annoying that I have to fuck for hours.
Oh no! God damn it! I usually end up feeling bad for the girl because they end up thinking that like it's something they're doing. They're not able to make me come, and I'm like, no, I just fucking can't come.
Literally could not, cannot, never. No come allowed.
Cause but so we did that. Ended up being and they were like, yeah, we'd love to do this again, and then they fucking ghost me, and I'm just like, well, that's stupid.
It happens though.
Well, they were like, well, we just don't have time with our kids and whatnot. And I'm like, but you had this time. Like, you obviously can schedule something. Like, I have free time all the time. So, like, what are you waiting for?
What are you waiting for? Let me fuck your wife.
Yeah, right? Like, do you want to watch more? Like, fuck, dude.
Maybe they got all the show they wanted.
Yeah.
So people just, like, want to pretend to be, like, you know, open for a minute and, like, then that's it. It's like they're a free Paul pass or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to kind of wrap up the podcast, do you have any more questions you've thought of that you're curious about me?
Nothing. You are so open. It's not hard to guess.
I know. That's what I hate.
Do you guys have any more questions in the chat?
It's one of the things I hate because I am so open. Everyone's always like, man, I don't know. I feel like I already know everything about you. I'm like, I'm sure there's something you don't know that I'll be able to talk about. There's a lot. But oh god, let's see. I want to think of one more question. I don't want it to lull on, but I want to get one more out of you. Let's see. Can I ask what's the weirdest thing you've been requested to do?
Okay, yeah, that's an interesting one because I wouldn't say weird, but I've had some interesting ones that are very random. One time someone paid me $80 to get a bag of gummy bears, melt them down, and pour them onto a sheet of parchment paper and step in it. Fully clothed. They just wanted to.
But that's also something that you're into, right?
I mean, it's not like a fetish of mine specifically, but I was interested in it simply because it was bizarre.
But you like wham.
It wasn't.
That's how you did?
It wasn't really wham. It was just my feet.
I mean,
wham is
like
interesting.
Borderline.
It's borderline wham, but it was the.
Which, for those that don't know, wet and messy.
Yeah, wet and messy. But I mean, it was definitely it was a really unique request that I happened.
Much more of a foot fetish thing.
Yeah, it was. I don't know what exactly it was, but it was definitely different.
Which, I mean, if you guys have seen her feet,
I have great feet.
good feet.
Great feet.
Very, very fetishisable feet.
Yeah.
I feel weird saying it like
no,
that.
No, it's true.
But...
Like, my feet are pretty much perfect for porn. Like, if you're looking to jerk off some toes, like you like small feet, then you're gonna want to see mine. Because I've been told they're pretty damn perfect. But yeah, that was a pretty unique one. I've had a guy pay me to film a video of me brushing my teeth into doable degradation, and he said he came hands-free 2 minutes in.
I would love to see that happen. That's just so interesting to me.
That's interesting, and that was kind of flattering.
Like, he wanted to be degraded while you were brushing your teeth?
Just me brushing my teeth, fully clothed, and just, like, talking shit.
It's just, so, like you were just like, you little piece of shit.
I was like, why the fuck are you paying me to brush my teeth? Are you that fucking, like, pathetic? Like, is this really what you want to spend your money on, you fucking
This is what you think is a good time, you asshole.
Or something like that, yeah. Along those, like...
It's so funny. I love that.
But that was a fun one. I've had people pay me to do weird stuff, like, I guess in public, but I don't really do those anymore, just because, like, there's not really a great place to post that kind of content, nor do I like the risk involved.
Yeah.
The people that have asked me, if it's, like, in the woods somewhere, maybe. But if they want me to go, like, in a parking lot and streak in front of people, no. Yeah. I've had people ask me to do things that would get me in trouble.
Which is why I want to start getting to the point to where I can get another person that's interested and just start going to parks, parks, like the woods, like go out in the wilderness and film content doing that.
Yeah, that's definitely a
away from people, so it's not hard, but you're still in public, but like there's no public around.
Yeah, exactly. That's more appealing to me than I feel like doing something in a non. I consider the consent of those around me.
Yeah.
And so in a public setting where there's pedestrians, it's not like they can actually consent to that. It's the last thing I'm going to do.
You can't engage in sexual acts in public, one, because of the law, and two, because you can't get the consent of everyone around.
And there's also the potential of the age. Like, I don't know everybody's age. I don't know everybody's, like, you know, yeah, like, I'd rather be safe than sorry with the public content. But, yeah, I've had people, like, pillow humping. That's not crazy. That's common. I do. Like, I have a booty bong.
Yeah, I fucking love that thing.
Yeah,
you haven't used it, though.
No, I've used it on a blow-up doll, though.
Yeah.
I did have a
not the same.
Yeah, and I know, like, I'm trying to think of the weird stuff. A lot of stuff I say no to.
If you want to make some content with that, we could totally do that on the stream.
Oh, God.
Maybe?
Potential, I don't know. I'm nervous to use it.
I mean, it's not gonna do any, like...
We can't do it on stream because you can't smoke.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
But we can make a video of it.
Potentially. We can't post that, only post the minivids. That's the only place that allows it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think. Because OnlyFans is weird about it now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Damn, that makes that hard.
I know.
Gotta get the butt plug taco holder.
Yeah. That's from Glow
or like
Fuck
a
Yourself.
Food thingy,
that,
yeah.
I love that company. Glow Fuck Yourself is really funny.
Their stuff is so cool.
Yeah, they have a lot of really interesting products.
So I think that's a really good place to wrap up this episode.
Mm-hmm. Is there any more questions on Chatterbait? You guys have anything else you want to ask?
We'll give you a real quick.
Yeah.
While I'm wrapping up.
Don't forget to follow if you're on Chatterbait as well, if you enjoyed this.
Also, if you like me, feel free to look me up when I'm on. I'd love to have people to interact with. It makes it a hell of a lot easier for me to be me. Obviously, that sounds redundant to say. But yeah, so I
missed this question. Are you both bisexual? I'm pansexual, polyamorous. I wouldn't say bi, because I don't define between two binaries, but yeah. What's your sexual orientation?
Mine's a fucking weird one. It's not weird in like a weird way, but it's just like it's not a single thing really. Like my thing is I have a genital requirement in a sense for me to engage in like at least definitely penetrative sex, or just in general. I'm not a fan of penis.
Not all intimacy is penetrative or sexual.
Yeah, which I have no problem being intimate with other people, but like if I'm like sexually, vaginally oriented. I identify as queer, specifically just because it's an easy, broad catch-all term, and it allows me to be more fluid within it. Because in the textbook definition of queer is weird or strange, and that describes me pretty much to a fucking T. But in the LGBT group, it's kind of just it's more so, for me, it's more so the way I live. It's the lifestyle I live, more so than who I'm attracted to, because that's a much bigger part of my sexuality than who I will sleep with, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I definitely don't come off as a straight masculine man by any means of the word. But like I'm very into trans men, for the most part. I mean, like, there's obviously people within that category of people that I just, I'm not attracted to, but like I follow some people that I'm just like, man, I fucking just top me or whatever, like, let's do something. But usually lean more towards women. I've made out with dudes. I'll cuddle with dudes. I'll snuggle with dudes. I have no problem being intimate or physical with dudes. Recently, I've started becoming more open. I had a sexual experience like last fucking week, where I was cucking this. I do a lot of cucking stuff. It's fun. But I was cucking this dude with his girlfriend, and he had a very big sissy kink, and they he wanted to watch, and he liked being told that he wasn't good enough in a sense, but also kind of like a slave situation where we used him to apply the lube. We used him to not change positions, but like he made the bed for us. He did all that all that kind of stuff. And it was really cool. It was the first time I've ever really had a dude touch my penis in a sexual manner, and I really didn't mind it. It's just like, it doesn't do anything for me. I personally don't want to touch another penis. It's kind of to me. That's why I said it's hard. It's weird to like figure out, because I'm still really coming into it, and the later in I get, the more fully queer I get, the less I give a shit.
Yeah.
But I definitely find men attractive. I have crushes on several people. I always want to see dudes naked. I want to see fucking everybody naked for the most part that's not related to me. But it's one of those things where it's a lot more in the fluid sense, but it's definitely more straight leaning, if that makes sense.
Or flexible is what I call that.
Yeah, I've used that, but it just doesn't make a sense to a lot of people. But
how do you know he's on the wrong channel then, Buck? I do all kinds of stuff on this page.
But yeah, so I think that's a pretty good place to wrap up the podcast. To all my listeners, thank you so much for sticking around, clicking on this episode, hopefully following and being around for more. I hope you guys had a great time listening to me talk to the wonderful, beautiful, and sexy Ivy. I had an absolute blast talking to you. I always
Thank
do.
you.
I fucking love talking to you. It's been a great week, not a week,
almost.
like 3 days, whatever. I hope you had a good time and got good questions, good answers, and thoroughly enjoyed it. Like I said, all of our places that you can find, it's a lot easier for her, but eventually it will be for me. All the places you can find us will be in the description wherever you choose to listen to this podcast. They can be found on most platforms, and the video will be posted on ManyVids and Pornhub. I don't think I'll really be posting it on other places. I definitely won't be posting this on YouTube because they're not cool like that. They're not hip. They're not wicca fresh. But with that, I want to say thank you. Have a great day, and just be fucking kind to each other. Have fun, guys. Just be nice.
Be nice. Be kind.
Alrighty.
Jerk off.